just gonna die in the end.
Okay, guys, I want to dive into something here with you that I know a lot of you have heard about. Maybe some of you haven't. But there's something going on right now with YouTube, how YouTube has purportedly said basically that within super chats, for those of you who don't know, a super chat is a monetary donation made during live streams. So, in other words, a person can go in and donate money to the person providing the live stream, and that money gets split. I believe it's seven. I think we get 70%. The creators get 70%. YouTube takes 30. But anyway, there's been something going around, been spread around, and I see Keemstar tweeted about it, got a lot more attention to it, saying that YouTube has a plan in place, apparently, now this is all allegedly, has a plan in place that if they deem a super chat post as offensive or hate speech or however you want to describe it, then instead of sharing that revenue between themselves and the YouTube creator, the live streamer, and rather than just refunding the money and maybe possibly blocking the person who made the, stripping them of their account or whatever that made the offensive post, they're gonna give the money to charity. Yeah, I got a really great big giant list of problems with that. But let me read to you. Hyle Laverly first brought this to my attention, and he found an article. It's from theguardian.com. Seems to be the initial source of it. And I'm going to read, again, this is from The Guardian. I'm going to read to you a section of it. It says, if a user is caught sending abusive super chats, the revenue received will be donated to charity instead of being split between YouTube and the channel's creator. That, in a nutshell, explains what's going on. Now, my question is, what everybody's been asking me is this legit? As near as I can tell, YouTube has not made an official comment on it either way. My initial reaction to this when I heard about it was, of course, it's not legitimate. Because think of the Pandora's box this opens up. Okay, very first and foremost, it's just like when you get social justice warriors out there screaming about wanting hate speech made illegal or something ridiculous like that. The problem with anything along those lines is who determines what fits into the category of hate speech. In this instance, they talk about a user sending abusive super chats. Who gets to determine what is or is not abusive? It's one thing to say, as YouTube can say as a private company, that, again, we are a private company, we're providing this format. If we don't like what you're saying on this format, we're going to take an action to disallow you from being there. They can do that. May not like it, but First Amendment rights do not apply. It's a private company. It's a whole different issue when you say, as a private company, if we don't like what you say, we're going to steal your money, because that's what they're doing. You're stealing money at that point. There's no other way to describe it. That's anything else is just sugarcoating. If you, by your determination as a private company, you're going to be the arbiter of what is acceptable and what is not acceptable as far as speech goes, or what is abusive or is not abusive as far as speech goes. And if you find something to be abusive, you're going to take money that had a very specific, excuse me guys, had a very specific design, and instead of, YouTube is the one that's being given charge of someone's money. If you donate $5 during a super chat, you're saying, I want, that 70% to go to the creator because you're trying to support them. If YouTube is going to say, well, I think what you did was abusive, so you know what, screw you. We're just going to give your money to charity. That's stealing. That's taking somebody's money and rerouting it for a purpose that they did not design, which is it's Robin Hoodism. And I know a lot of people maybe, feel that steal from the rich, give to the poor is noble. It's not legal, though, because the first word in that phrasing is steal. So once you've stolen, that's not a legal thing to do. My question on this would be, okay, if this really was the case, and YouTube's, you go to donate $5 to a live streamer. YouTube takes that $5, gives it to charity instead. I would say that's petty theft. And it should be, I would say, how can that not be pursued legally, and how can they not be responsible for that? Take it a step further. say they do. Obviously, YouTube is a tremendously large platform with insane amounts of users and tons of people out there live streaming every day. So multiply that by a few thousand times it happens. Isn't it now a felony? I mean, if you're talking a big enough amount of money to qualify, I'm not even sure what it is for theft to become felonious. Is it a couple grand or something like that? But in any event, doesn't that become a felony at some point? So given all this, my initial thought was, okay, it can't be real. It can't be legitimate. But then I get thinking more and more about who we're dealing with. And one thing we know about Google/YouTube is they're very, very liberal, very, very social justice warrior-ish. Could they have enough arrogance to think that they can get away with doing this? It's entirely possible. This is a fascinating article here. I'm going to try and remember to link it in the description of the video. Let me go further up on the article here. Let me find what I wanted to. Okay, YouTube monetizes influence for everyone. This is a quote from the article, or in this article from a report. YouTube monetizes influence for everyone, regardless of how harmful their belief systems are. The platform and its parent company have allowed racist, misogynist, and harassing content to remain online, and in many cases to generate advertising revenue as long as it does not explicitly include slurs, the report notes. So basically what they're saying there is they're throwing stones at YouTube, saying that you're allowing what I consider to be hate speech, and that's terrible, and people make ad revenue from it. That's basically what that's saying. Now, YouTube spokeswoman is quoted with responding with this. YouTube is an open platform where anyone can choose to post videos to a global audience, subject to our community guidelines, which we enforce rigorously. Fair. So that's why I'm kind of walking a tightrope here, because what the YouTube spokesperson says, there's a spokeswoman says, makes sense. Now, but you have to take that a step further. Okay, so suppose someone does something that is, in their opinion, outside of their community guidelines. Does that allow YouTube to then just take their money and redirect it somewhere else, rather than take their money and refund it to them and say, okay, you can't be a member of this community anymore? To be honest, I don't know. My initial instinct in that is, no, they can't, because again, how is that not stealing? Is there any way that is not stealing? This is a really fascinating. I'm dying to hear a response from YouTube. This whole article could be garbage. Who knows? When you talk about YouTube spokeswoman, this anonymous person, that anonymous, that's a big part of my issues with modern media. Anyway, is they rely so much on those who insist on remaining anonymous that it undercuts the validity of an article as far as I'm concerned. So this all could be total garbage. Is it possible that YouTube would try something like that? Sure. As far as I'm concerned, if I was doing a live stream and YouTube determines that one of you guys makes a super chat and they determine in their infinite wisdom that it crossed some sort of line into hate speech, there's not much I can do about that per se. If they want to say, okay, you know what, we're not going to allow this, we're going to refund that money. So, the person gets their money back, YouTube and I don't take any split on it, it's not acceptable. So nothing we can do about it. And if they want to go that route, that's fine. If they want to steal one of my crew, somebody from our group, if they want to steal their money and say, oh, we're going to give this to charity. The only thing I can think of here is YouTube thinking that public opinion will sway in their favor because at least they're giving it to a charity. No, you don't get to steal people's money under any circumstances, and especially in a community like ours, where you guys know our sense of humor is extremely rough, or it's certainly not politically correct. Our sense of humor is as anti-politically correct as can be. So every time we tell on a live stream, which you guys who are regulars there know we love telling jokes on our live streams, and they fall into a realm that would make social justice warriors' skulls rip right out from their flesh. It would make them swallow their tongues. So is YouTube then allowed to say, oh, that joke crossed the line for us? So you know what? We're taking that money and we're giving it to charity. Yeah, there's going to be a problem there. I'll do whatever it takes to fight on that one, because that's That, in a nutshell, is the type of thing that I can think of nothing, because I know what's been going on in England, and you guys have had issues over there now with certain forms of speech being censored to the point of prison sentences and things along those lines. Free speech is a huge, huge deal to me. And again, I understand the difference between free speech as protected by the government, but what we're talking about here is, free speech was probably a poor use of terms. What we're talking about here is stealing money on behalf of social justice warrioring, because that's what it is. I don't care what words are said. Now, outside, I shouldn't say I don't care what words. Outside of directly threatening an individual or a group of people, or outside of directly promoting violence, I don't think anybody has any right to squelch your speech. Furthermore, even if you did, in a super chat, promote violence or threatened another person, I don't believe in that at all. I still don't think they would be legally allowed to take your money and give it to charity. I think they could bring criminal charges against you, because that's against the law. And those charges should be brought. I wouldn't have a problem with that at all. You still, in my estimation, don't have the right to take people's money. And I could be wrong. I don't think it would even be legal in a terms of service. Now, not as in YouTube terms of service, not as a content provider, but as a viewer. Because when you use their system to watch videos, you enter into a contract of sorts. You have to agree in some level, even if you didn't sign anything, to play by their rules, basically, or they can try and keep you from their platform. That's perfectly understandable. But there's nowhere in there that anybody has signed off saying, well, if I act in a certain way, you can just take money I had given to the platform with this express purpose and just reroute it to a charity. So in essence, do I think this is legitimate? Probably not, but I wouldn't put it out of the realm of being possible. If they implement it, will there be blowback? There goddamn well better be. I mean, and again, for me, I would be infuriated. I would not listen. I'll go to a lawyer. I'll go to YouTube's doorstep and do like the Screeching Warriors did at the Supreme Court and try and peel their doors open so I can scream at the sky at them. There would be a problem. There would be a major, major problem, because again, I don't care what YouTube thinks is abusive. Makes no difference to me. If you think something's abusive, YouTube, get rid of the abusive people. Don't steal their money. And by that, I don't mean, like I say, I'm not talking about for my benefit. By all means, if you think what they said is abusive, refund their money. I shouldn't get it. You shouldn't get it. Nobody should get it. But a charity doesn't get to reap the benefit of it either. So, as far as, did YouTube actually say this, and is this a policy that's either going to be in place or is currently in place? Don't know. Don't have verification. If I'm an odds maker, I'm giving it 70% that this isn't true, at least at some level. If it is, things are going to get way, 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 way more interesting. Oh, what the hell happened to my screen here? Hold on a second, guys. There we go. Okay, I'm back. I don't know what happened. I just had a blackout here. Is that racist, saying blackout? Anyway, if it is true, I'll be making more videos about it, and I'll be doing a lot more than just making videos. But keep me posted for what you guys catch as information regarding this, because I want to follow this, and you guys are on top of things a lot of times more quickly than am I. My feeling is this is probably not actually reflective of what's going to happen. If it does, there's going to be an issue. We'll see.